Would I really want to work with Elon, or would I want to work with Jensen Huang?
Very polar. I have some people that absolutely love Elon and he can do no wrong, and I have some friends that cannot stand him.
I would call him a scholar, not even a magician. The 1 trillion for Elon and the market cap of 5 trillion for NVIDIA. And the fact that every employee in NVIDIA has restricted stock options, so they are getting richer by the minute.
A business is not a democracy necessarily. It's more like a dictatorship, but you really hope that you get a kind dictator, you know?
And now I have to throw this question. What happens if Elon dropped dead tomorrow? Where if Elon Musk leaves Tesla, it will collapse. If you think about the only way you can manage 60 direct reports, if you're running it as a neural network. You dig deeper into how NVIDIA doing things now. Since 1993, he has been the leader of this organization. And every time he made a bet, he made it work. Always the equation is about his people around him. They will find a way. Even if it's an apocalypse tomorrow, they will find a way.
Welcome to part 2. In part 1, we covered some massive topics, including the huge changes at OpenAI and some fascinating theories about ancient Egyptian technology. You can jump in here, but I strongly suggest catching up with part 1. The link is right in the description. Enjoy! All right, maybe we switch gears a little bit to another magician that we talk about on this episode all the time. You know, it's very polar. Like, I have some people that absolutely love Elon and he can do no wrong, and I have some friends that cannot stand him because maybe they take some of his words too literally rather than seeing it from a strategic perspective, from the bird's eye view. So maybe to kick it off a little bit, basically Elon is seeking approval from the shareholders of Tesla to be paid a compensation package, which is worth 1 trillion, and it would be basically the biggest CEO pay deal in history. So how would you like to get a 1 trillion bonus, Amir? And maybe to give some context, so basically what it includes is he set some targets for the company 10 years down the road that he's going to grow Tesla to a market cap of 8.5 trillion. And there's a couple other things there as well. So what do you think? If somebody can guarantee me potentially that they're going to 5x my company, and as a result, I'm going to give them a set amount of bonuses, it doesn't sound like a bad deal to me as a shareholder, right? And as long as the target is maybe overly ambitious, and I believe he can actually hit it, you know, if it's a net positive for both sides, personally, I don't think I would mind. But what are your thoughts on that, Amir?
You know, I like the vision of Elon in general. I think he's an amazing leader and he has his own things. But when I was like reflecting on this story, I would like to do something different this time. Why don't we put the two stories next to each other? Let's talk about the 1 trillion for Elon and the market cap of 5 trillion for NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking at these two stories next to each other, subconsciously, I wanted to talk about, I would call him a scholar, not even a magician, which is Jensen Huang, the founder and the CEO of NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, yeah.
And I'm looking at Jensen and I'm looking at Elon. And I'm going to just focus on Tesla because it's the company in action. And I'm going to focus on NVIDIA as the company in action. Then I double-clicked into the net worth of Jensen Huang. He is 160 billion valued. And I double-clicked into the net worth of Elon. He's 300 billion valued. And then looking at, on the same period between Tesla and NVIDIA, Tesla came 20x and NVIDIA came 200x. And then I also said, okay, would I really want to work with Elon, or would I want to work with Jensen Huang? And then like one little down branching and look at this. Literally, we don't know anything about the management team of Elon Musk. He's the star. That's it. It's Elon and no one else.
Right.
Yet in the back of the biggest actually dispute over a package he had in Delaware courts, he had even to change the headquarters of Tesla to get his case out and get his previous pay, which was like 200 billion, I guess, or something. Fulfilling my ego, this is the highest ever pay in the history for anyone, actually. I will be the first trillionaire in the world.
Do you think that's the intention? Do you think that's that's his main motivator or driver, that, hey, I'm the first trillionaire CEO? Or because I don't believe that's the case. What I think Elon probably took quite a bit of leverage with the acquisition of X and overpaying for it, formerly Twitter, right? And some of the investment, like it takes a lot of money to run Solar City, to run Tesla, to run SpaceX, to run the Boring Company and Neuralink and X. And so it's a lot of stuff happening. it seems like he put a lot of his own money, as we know, in his companies. Like when he got his 200 million from PayPal, what was it? He put 80 million into Tesla, 20 into Solar City, and 100 into SpaceX. And supposedly he was living on his friend's couch because he had no cash, right? And so I don't think he's doing it for the money. I think it's a financial operation he has to do to maybe manage his liquidity and maybe sponsor some bigger ideas that he has.
I don't want to fetch into his soul, if I can call it this way. But I also don't think a 1 trillion valuation in 7 years or a 1 trillion value in 7 years or 8 years from now means nothing. If you, maybe some economists and financial people can help us here, but following the trend of actually the current growth,
just the inflation rate and the appreciation of assets.
Like NVIDIA was
so you
4
think
billion.
Where Tesla is right now, do you think they can get to 8.5 trillion just with the current trajectory?
Let's put Tesla aside because it's a very special case.
Mm-hmm.
But my expectation that NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, they will hit easy the $8 trillion by 2030 if you follow the same trajectory. So we're talking about AI, we're talking about an industry that it's really like in still on the dawn of it. And we are seeing growth. It's happening whether we like it or not. And that if we dig deeper into how NVIDIA doing things now, and still Jensen's style, which is wow, and managing 6 direct reports on time, these guys will grow. And the fact that every employee in NVIDIA has restricted stock options, so they are getting richer by the minute. We're just making sure that they are really delivering something there. So getting to the 8 trillion by 2030, that's easy. Now, where I actually feel uncomfortable about the whole conversation between the compensation of Elon Musk and Tesla is that the board of Tesla, in coordination with Elon Musk, have actually engineered a situation where if Elon Musk leaves Tesla, it will collapse. And if Elon Musk stays in Tesla, it will grow. The signal to the market by signing this deal will increase the valuation of Tesla anyway, because people have a belief in his brand.
100%.
And it will start actually growing. I don't think the 1 trillion is big ticket for Elon in 7 or 8 years from now. And of course, if he's going to multiply his company by 8 and reach the 8 trillion, yeah, you should get your bonus, whatever it is, written in the book. There's other tangible targets are put on him. So Optimus, for example, has to be a mainstream robot by 2027. So that's already a big ask, if I can call it this way. And there's other way of edge cloud into the cars and converting Teslas to be 100 million sales or whatever. I don't understand how they will make that. But there is really like unachievable targets for a normal leader. And seeing how he can do that only from Tesla, you need to have a breakthrough similar to the GPUs for gaming becomes the mainstream for AI. We're moving into that direction. The same NVIDIA have done. 200x of NVIDIA in the same time that other companies did maximum 20x. That is big on the NVIDIA side. So to conclude here, I feel it's an ego game because there was no need to talk about it. Maybe it's not the money, but I feel there's an ego conversation here. And it's an impossible situation for Tesla. And now I have to throw this question. What happens if Elon dropped dead tomorrow?
What happens if one of the deals that NVIDIA signs with OpenAI or Oracle or these other companies doesn't go through? What if they can't build electricity production facilities faster enough? What if nuclear fusion or fission that they might need to use to power all of this AI is enough? So I think it's almost...
I will have an answer to that. I will definitely have a trust of an organization that has more than 60 direct reports with 60 leaders that are invested as almost citizenship to my organization than an organization that is centered around one person. They will find a way. The organization that is designed in a way that we work together and there's an autonomous way of doing things here, they will find a way. Even if it's an apocalypse tomorrow, they will find a way. Last week, we talked about putting the data centers in space. An organization that is centered around one person will not find a way. You'll get lost.
Well, I have some personal experience in this space that I'm not sure I agree 100% because you can't always just because you have more people helping you make the decision doesn't mean you're going to make better decisions necessarily. Like one of the businesses I was a part of, we had several partners, and we decided to keep everything fair, everything is equal share, and so on and so forth. But the level of commitment, the level of responsibility, or creativity, or dedication, even though we're all shareholders, even though we should all be pulling in the same direction and working together, there's always hardship that comes up dealing with business partners, right? And ultimately more than half of them ended up leaving. So and I saw somewhere, I'm not sure if it was related to Elon or somebody else, maybe it was Steve Jobs, but it's almost like a business is not a democracy necessarily, but you really hope that you get like it's more like a dictatorship, but you really hope that you get a kind dictator, that's not a cruel dictator.
That's 100% right. That's 100% right, and that's not what I'm saying. And that's where the parallels between Jensen and Elon is very clear. Like when you put them in front of each other. No, Jensen is the leader of NVIDIA, and he has really like some cool business and his own business story to tell. Like he never entered a market that has already a competition, for example. He always goes into a market when it is he has his word that I love the 0 billion markets. He has his own style. He has his own style. If you're not running for your food, you are the food. Like he has clear messages to his team, and he's a clear leader. That's not what I'm saying, actually.
I see. Okay.
Leader is a leader, and leader should lead. But part of the leader role is that he builds behind him a stack that can actually take over when needed. And one of them will become the new leader and the others will have to follow. But the vision has to continue. The vision of NVIDIA is clear. And the way they are doing it is actually building different types of leaders and styles, but they have to follow the leader. It's not
so
democracy.
What you're saying, there is a chain of continuity in the sense that if Jensen disappears tomorrow for some reason, decides to take a extended retirement holiday for the rest of his life, that other people will step the number 2, the number 3, to kind of keep things running, right?
It's a neural network. If you think about the only way you can manage 60 direct reports, if you're running it as a neural network, you have to be all the time running between meeting rooms and talking with people and doing this way. While actually the style of Elon Musk, which we're seeing, is actually making it the center of the star.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes out in, out. Like it's surrounding him. Now you remove this balancing. I can tell you now, the board will approve it, the deal. And he will take the $1 trillion. And if he asks for 3, he will take it, because without Elon Musk, no Tesla. But you cannot say that on NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the market will respond powerfully to the message of Elon Musk being confirmed as the CEO for the coming 5 years. And it will increase, and Tesla will jump in value. All of this will happen, but it's not right.
Well, again, that's arguable, because if you're playing a bigger game and if you have X, for example, where you get crazy reach, you get access now all of a sudden to world leaders, you're meeting the Italian prime minister, and I think you're having a lot more serious discussion behind closed doors. I think you're probably part of your security clearances with the government. You're privy to some information that you wouldn't otherwise. So I think it's also like there's an expression, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Because even if something bad happened, the publicity still draws attention, and you can convert that attention to subscriptions, you can monetize it, right? Or you can do different things with it. So in this case, he's a polarizing figure, like let's say to some extent like Trump, and there's some negatives there as well, but he keeps winning, man. Like he just keeps winning, and it's not everybody's style. It rubs a lot of people the wrong way. You can't argue with a genius, and I think when you have a once in a millennium kind of a talent or generation or whatever you want to call him, even if he's not such a great engineer, let's say, but he's just somebody who's a good technologist, let's put it that way. I think you go all in. You you bet all on red.
I would bet on him as well. I'm just saying he's wrong. I think I'm trying to put the hat of, let's look at this story again from the 2 different angles, right? The angle of Elon Musk, chapeau. I know my value. I create value. I know where I am. I'm the strongest competitive advantage for my business. I created my personal brand. I'm the guy. If you don't want to continue with me, good for you. I will go do another Tesla tomorrow. and I will do whatever I want.
And
In
I believe
reality,
you do it
so
better than whoever takes over Tesla in the state it's in now.
exactly. So no, so I that's a this is if we're talking about magicians, that's a magician. He have almost won every time he played the game. Even when he loses, he wins. And then now I'm talking about the angle from the business angle. As an owner or a shareholder of Tesla or a board member of Tesla, I've participated in created an organization that is centered around Elon. It's Apple before Steve Jobs left the first time.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it will collapse.
It leaves for something, for one bad fight or some disagreement, or so, it could take one spark for things to go sour. So it's more
Exactly.
high risk, high reward, in my opinion, versus kind of the boring, established, and let's slowly grind our way up. And no doubt there's genius on both sides.
What I'm trying to throw in the mix here is I actually like what Jensen is doing. He is creating his own equation with his own style, with that Asian leader coming from Taiwan, working in the US, and starting from day zero on a company from zero to the 5 trillion. Since 1993, he has been the leader of this organization. And every time he made a bet, he made it work. And always the equation is about his people around him. I don't hear Elon talking about his people.
Well, I mean, his second in command, I forget her name, to be honest, which I guess goes to prove your point. But there's a lot of credit that goes to her. Like when you read the biography about Elon by, I forget the name. Was it Ashley Vance, I think? Yeah. So, they talk about there like his second in command. She's a woman. I can't remember her name, but she's like an operations genius, apparently. And she helps them juggle SpaceX with Tesla, with all the other stuff. So, but yeah, I agree. It's not in front page news about the people that are behind him, but no doubt he also makes good choice of people he brings on board. Like he's super ruthless with the people. You can't argue that he doesn't have intelligent people behind him that, if he was gone for a month or busy with other stuff, that I think the company would still keep running. But it's the big picture decisions that I think they need him for, because it takes a spark of crazy to get the dose of genius, I guess.
I agree. Like there's no way he can do that alone, but I think he's the president. I would have loved the headline to be Elon is negotiating a $2 trillion deal for him and his management team.
Yeah.
And that
I
would
get what
have
you're
been
saying.
a very interesting way of doing it. I feel you want to say something about Jensen.
No, I don't. I just wanted to see if there's anything else we can touch on them reaching the 5 trillion valuation, which is quite incredible. But
I think we should have a full episode about their deal with Plantier and the big brother setup now on that setup of Plantier. So we talked about earlier about Plantier. We have to give a good space for that later. But I think they're doing the right things. They are also jumping into robo-taxis. So like this week was full of announcements from NVIDIA and announcements from OpenAI as well. Like they have announced a lot of products. And I advise our audience to go and see the announcements. It tells a lot. The world is really changing in a very high pace around us on those things. But Jensen, as a leader, I still think he is untalked about gem, if we can call it this way. So, but good. Shall we actually tell our audience a quick wrap of what I think here, of what we think here?
Well, let's keep an eye out on the new museum opening in Egypt. Could be interesting. And if anybody's interested into a separate episode of me and Amir getting into that topic, could be cool to do a separate episode. Of course, we got the massive disparity between Elon and Jensen Huang's leadership style. So maybe let us know, are you an Elon fan or a Jensen fan? And if you were to put, let's say, 10,000 euros or dollars of your own money into just one company at the current valuation, Tesla or NVIDIA, what is your choice? So let us know in the comments, Tesla or NVIDIA. And let's keep an eye out on all the other news happening in the world of AI technology.
I love what you're doing, and I love the wrap-up, actually. Alex, I would add one small twist to what we're saying here, talking again leadership. It's not a secret, I'm a big fan of Elon. But being a big fan of someone doesn't mean you don't disagree with them. That's one important thing. There's no one way of doing the same thing. You can do many ways and reach to different points. And I would always advise our audience here that are building their own businesses or trying to find a way around businesses, creating their own tech and making sure that it's a profitable tech. Keep your eyes open around what is happening around you. And I hope we're participating in that. And in this scenario, also look at how other leaders have done things in a similar way on similar basis. If you put Jensen Huang next to Elon Musk 10 years ago, in reality, when AI was a fiction, NVIDIA for you would be some graphic cards for a game, and Elon Musk for you will be the guy building Tesla. And in 10 years from now, I think our putting the two leaders next to each other, we might have a completely different comparison to that. And the subtle way of Jensen is a very interesting way of actually doing business compared to the shiny star way of Elon Musk. Choose your own way and let us know what you think in reality, because I think this is two completely different schools of doing the same thing, being great, both in reality.
You know, I hope 10 years from now we're still doing this and we can pull this episode up. I would still bet on Elon. And I think that there's more things that can come out of that. Like, I think he could easily get, not easily, but I think he could get into the GPU space potentially. You know, they could build something custom that powers all of the Optimuses and Teslas and Starlink. So call me crazy. I don't know if who would agree or who not, but when you had genius, I think you got to go full in. And of course, Jensen, absolutely brilliant, less flashy, kind of stable and you know, with AI, but I think there could be a higher risk that there's going to be another player that comes into the market with maybe a new way to build GPUs or something that maybe replaces something quantum-based that actually bypasses, kind of leaps over that technology, how in a lot of African countries they went from, you know, no phones straight to cell phones rather than having the landline, as an example. So I think we could have something like that would actually make GPUs irrelevant. But maybe that's more of a long-term prediction, but I hope we can have this chat 10 years down the line and see what happened.
I love that. Let's close on this. Wisdom of the crowd or wisdom of the star, guys. Let's see what you think.
All right. And thank you everybody for listening and watching to this lengthy episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.